Hey guys, Travis here with DFSkarma.com with our prop goats, Ethan and Joey. Now, every week we go on this podcast here on our YouTube channel, so make sure you are subscribed to this channel if you haven't yet and click the thumbs up on this. So, typically on this podcast, on this Player Prop Picks podcast, we focus on one of our favorite props from each of our three partner sites, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, and Prize Picks. But this one's going to be a little bit different because we have a special event going on for Week 6. We have a Monkey Knife Fight Fantasy Challenge that is strictly, exclusively for all of the members of Karma Nation. And if you're watching this and you're subscribed to this channel, then you are officially dubbed a member of Karma Nation. So how it works in a nutshell, all the information is in the link in the description of this video. So we're not going to go into too much detail how it works. But essentially, the fantasy challenge of Monkey Knife Fight is you pick 3 players. It could be from one game, one matchup, or they do have a full slates of options. You know, I believe they also do early, mid, and late slate as well. But you pick 3 players, and their fantasy points collectively is what your score is. So you have 3 players, whether it's a game or a full slate. If they have a massive score, then a higher score than anybody else that's doing this week, then of course you guys are going to get $250 added to your account for just this week. But if you do have the highest score the entire season with everybody competing with Karma Nation in this particular contest, then you're actually going to get a prize that I believe is valued about, I think it's about $4,700. You're going to get like $2,000 Monkey Knife Fight credit. You're going to get a $2,500-ish Karma package as well, our subscription stuff, all of that. Long story short, let's get right to it. Just click the link in the description, sign up, and compete alongside us as well. But, Ethan, let's start with you. If you're picking 3 players, are you focusing on a full game for this podcast, or are you going to focus on a particular slate?
I'm going to go with the early start shootout slate. I don't like to limit myself just to 2 teams when it comes to this. So I like the early game slates because you get an option of like 8 games. So that's a lot more players to choose from. The first guy I'm just going to mention right off the bat, and I think Joey would agree with me, if Christian McCaffrey is active and not on a snap count or anything, just plug him as your first player. That guy is the best player PPR purposes in the game right now. So just lock him in.
So sharp.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's an obvious play, but people still don't play him. But if he's active and not on a snap count, just plug him in right away. But outside of him, the first guy I'm going to talk about is Jonathan Taylor, who I love this week. Texans have the 7th worst rush defense. The Colts come in as big-time favorites, so they should run the ball a ton, and Taylor's the workhorse in that backfield. He leads the league with 24 red zone rushing attempts this year, and that's a lot. So when they're in the red zone, they're giving the ball to Taylor, and I fully expect them to have at least 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3 in this one, just because they're going to be running so much. He also has back-to-back games with 3 receptions, and believe this or not, he's actually now led the backfield in targets in the last 2 weeks, and he's only behind Hines now, 1 target for the year. So Hines has now taken a backseat, and Taylor's pretty much now the back. Pass catching, running, you name it, he does everything. And you really can't ask for a better matchup than this for him against the Texans. So I'm locking in Jonathan Taylor as my first guy. I also like Keenan Allen. So if you watched Baltimore last
Wait,
week.
You said Jonathan Taylor's your first guy, so CMC's wasn't play number 1? Or is that a situational if he's playing, he's number 1?
He might not play, yeah.
Yeah, CMC might not play. I don't know.
But if he does, you're saying,
so
if he does play, you're saying CMC and Jonathan Taylor would be
yes.
your 2. Okay.
Yes. But I'm gonna talk about 3 guys who I know are playing for sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
And and Joey would agree with me. Just lock in CMC no matter what.
Joey would agree
Joey.
with everybody. That's just the kind of guy Joey is.
He is. He's a nice guy.
Ethan has some
All right, Ethan, who's your next guy? Joey, that's enough of you. That's enough.
All right. Second guy I'm going with Keenan Allen. If you watched Baltimore last week, they could not stop the pass to save their life. They looked awful. They have the 4th worst pass defense, but they have the 7th best rush defense. So the best way to beat Baltimore is just throwing the ball. And guess who loves to throw the ball? The Chargers. And one of his favorite weapons is Keenan Allen, who leads the team in red zone targets with 9. He also leads the team in targets with 53 through 5 weeks. So I think he could easily have a 7-reception, 100-yard, 1 to 2 touchdown game in this one. Because guess what? Chargers can't stop the run either, and that's what Baltimore is good at, especially Lamar Jackson. So I expect this to be a very high-scoring game with Herbert throwing at least probably 3, 4, 5 touchdown passes, and 2 of them should go to Allen at least. The third guy I'm mentioning is Cooper Kupp. This guy leads the league in red zone targets with 10 on the year, and he's got 5 touchdowns. He's clearly Stafford's number one option, and he leads the team in targets and receptions. He has 56 targets and 37 receptions on the year. The Giants have the 27th worst pass defense. And so the Rams can do whatever they want. I mean, you saw what the Cowboys did last week to the Giants. The biggest question here is, can the Giants keep up with the Rams so they have to keep throwing the ball? That will depend on Daniel Jones' health. If Jones is healthy, I think they can keep up. If he's not, it's going to be tough for him. But his highest fantasy points so far this year is 37.3, so he's got massive upside. But again, can the Giants keep it close? I'm not so sure. So if CMC plays, I'd go CMC, Jonathan Taylor, and Keenan Allen as my top 3. But if CMC sits, I'd go Cooper Kupp.
All right. And before we get to Joey's favorite 3, which I would assume that if they always offer, whether it's an early, middle, and late night or just a full game slate, I feel like, especially in these kind of contests when you're, even if it's not a contest where you're trying to compete against other people, I feel like it doesn't ever make any sense unless your 3 people, your top 3 people overall, are in like a massive, high scoring matchup. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense to play a single game fantasy challenge when you have other opportunities that you're not limited on, which is what the early slate option that Ethan just went through. So, Joey, are you also going on a multi-game slate option on the Monkey Knife Fight Fantasy Challenge?
Well, you're making me look like an idiot because I am picking.
Yep, I wanted to say that before you started talking, just in case it was. Here's Idiot Joey talking about how he's picking one game. Go ahead, Idiot Joey.
I guess if CMC's active, you can just throw these players in and just throw CMC in there. But what I'm looking at is the Washington KC game. That game's supposed to be a shootout. Both teams are allowing 300 yards passing per game, and there's only been 10 teams in the history of the NFL who's allowed that, and they're both on pace for that. There's 6 teams right now that are on pace for that, so it's a pretty high passing league now. They're the highest total of the week with 54.5 points right now, according to DraftKings Sportsbook, so this game's supposed to be a shootout. So what I'm locking in right now is Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Terry McLaurin. I guess if you want to sub in CMC if he's active for either Kelce or Hill, so you're not really limiting yourself there. Usually one of them has an amazing game, and then one of them has in Tyreek's case, an average game, and Kelce's case, just an above average game. But Hill's been pretty boomer bust. He's finished as a top 2 PPR wide receiver twice, but has also finished as a bot. Hasn't finished past 26th best 3 out of those 5 games. He's finished 26th, 40th, and over 60 when he got shut down at Baltimore. So it's really been a boomer bust, big play guy. So with all these passing yards expected in this game, and with Clyde out, I'm expecting Hill to have one of his boom games. Because Washington's secondary has been really bad. Outside of William Jackson, they've been giving up a ton of yards, as you can see. They're giving up 300 plus on average. And then, of course, I'm locking in Kelce. He's had 17 or more fantasy points in 4 of 5 games so far this season, including 23 or more in the first 2 weeks of the season. So he's got that boom potential as well. You're really looking for the boomer bust guys, just because you're playing for that top spot, so might as well lock these guys in. And then on the flip side, I'm going with Terry McLaurin for the Washington. He's been a top 5 wide receiver in 2 of the 4 games that Taylor Heineke has started. He's also had double-digit targets in 3 of those 4 games. Just the game against the Bills where he got shut down by Tre'Davious White was one of those only games where he did not have double-digit targets. So I'm expecting potentially 10 targets from all 3 of these guys this weekend. So that's what I am locking in for first place in the contest this week.
So to kind of recap on how the contest worked. So there's a week 6 leaderboard. So if you want to play, click the link, put your account email in for Monkey Knife Fight, and then you can play as many fantasy challenge contests you want to. You can lock in Ethan's, you can lock in Joey's. You can lock in your own as well. You can do as many as you want to, but they're going to pick your top 3, and those top 3 are what gets added to the leaderboard. Now, you have a week 6 leaderboard. If you win week 6, which of course is this week, then you get $250 for first place, and then it sprinkles down from there. But if you not only win the first place for week 6, but you have the highest score out of all of the weeks we're doing for this entire season, then you have that massive prize pool. And I believe at this very moment, one of our subs, Historical Anomalies, he has 90.8. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get 3 players to collectively combine for more than 90.8 fantasy points, whether that's Ethan's play, Joey's play, or your own play. We'll see what the leaderboard shows the end of I believe it's going to be at the end of Sunday. Yeah, so no Monday games. Monday does not count. Thursday Night Football does not count. So that's something I want to make sure that if you guys are watching this, because we're recording this on Thursday, Thursday does not count. Monday does not count. It is Sunday main slate. Sunday main slate. 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. games are part of this particular contest. So click the link in the description. Sign up. Make sure you click the thumbs up on this video. And if you have any questions whatsoever about anything props, ask these 2 prop goats in our chat room by simply going to dfscarver.com/chat, and we'll see you guys there. Good luck this week.
Good luck.
Good luck.